Fender. If you look at it sideways, you will notice that one is higher than the other. After having it installed by a technician that has done wonderful work for my Telly and some other guitars, Joel Maynard out in Reedsville, he installed the unit and has done a couple of mods. He put a couple of brass tubes behind the string saddles down here in the bridge so that they will not move. He replaced the springs with metal tubes, and so they are in perfect placement forever. And I think it also probably will reduce some string wear down there, because one would think they would have abraded on those springs in some way. But anyway, yeah, this is a really great unit. I really love it. I've had it for, I don't know, 3-4 months, 5. I went into a local studio last month, and we tacked down 11 acoustic guitar and vocal and drum tracks for a record that I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. I think it might be called Being in the Boat. But then I heard an expression that I like, which deconstructs the word responsibility into 2 words: response ability. Not sure, but I will tell you this. It's going to be quite a record. It sure is. It's going to be quite a record. Bill Smith's drumming is fabulous and really feel-based, because we had real good eye contact. We were only 8-9 feet away from one another in Glenn Denny's studio when we recorded, and so there's all kinds of very instantaneous alignment and entrainment and stuff like that going on. Real good. And one of the songs I really like that I'm going to use the B bender on quite a bit, I think, at times, especially when it's, you know, when I'm trying to add something kind of atmospheric and, you know, southwestern sounding to it, you know, Ennio Morricone western music. So this is me and Bill, and some of the ideas I'm fooling around with for how to go back down and put more guitar on this song. It's called I'd Like to Buy Me a Roadhouse, or I Wanna Buy Me a Roadhouse.
I've been through
Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. This is just lovely. Can't recommend it highly enough. And I've looked at the, many other kinds of string bending technologies that are out there, such as, your original Parsons White style, which we all know, those of us that know anything about this stuff know that they can be real intrusive on the back of the instrument, and certainly do something to its mass and tone, although a lot of people really like that sound. Marty Stewart does, and Clarence White did, and that's a good thing. And Brad Paisley and all them guys, And then you got your hip shot, but I've never been much of a dancer, so that isn't going to work for me, having to use my hip to do this. And another thing about the B benders is a lot of them, it bends the B string a whole tone. And I don't know, I kind of think I like, at least for the way that I phrase chords, I like that the B bender, this Peters B bender, which is made in Muncie, Indiana, they make some good lap steel guitars, it appears, too. And these suckers are the cat's meow for a lap steel guitar. I mean, it's like, you can have it on and be playing it in 30 minutes if you have a drill and a screwdriver. Not lying. And it has 4 anchor screws, unlike a French unit that's kind of similar. Different axle assembly on the French unit. I think it's called Centano or Sertano. It looks very nice, and I've seen some people play them, and they sound great, In terms of the design, they're pretty similar. I think these two people were running sort of like parallel notions about this. And the French unit only has 2 install screws. This one has 4. This one is entirely adjustable in terms of getting your intonation right. It's real easy, and it uses a single Allen wrench. The man who installed this for me, when he put the holes in to mount it into this solid body, he used some kind of I'm guessing an epoxy or something in there to really, really bond those screws down into the wood, knowing that there's going to be all of this torque going on here, It's really cool. It's really cool to be using this thing in combination with, with volume swells and other kinds of extended techniques. I'll bet you if this thing was out back in the day when Roy Buchanan was alive, he would have been all over this thing with like both hands and his teeth, because it seems to me that it would fit real well into the way that where he kept his hand, for one thing, when he was playing, and also just the kind of things he was about and the whole volume swell thing. As I've said before, I've had this oblong control panel on the instrument rotated 180 degrees to get the volume knob over here. See, my pinky on my right hand is rather dexterous, and so it can get around to these things, and that's the best place for volume swells. Tone is easy to get at. This 5-position strat switch was actually also rotated 180 degrees so that it would continue to correspond with the placement of the pickups which are in here. But benders. They make a B bender, they make a GB bender, and they make a GB D bender. That's too much for me. I only got 2 pads on my hands, so I got 2 paddles for my pads. But great unit. You can buy it and have it put on by someone who isn't ripping you off. The whole deal for about $200. It's a good piece. Thanks for listening. Have a lovely Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and all that other stuff. Yule, and take your joy where you can find it in a world where the word merry always sounds ironic anymore. We're not very merry as a species, but I think that we can be joyful and happy about things other than getting to the next rung on a material ladder.